Did you know about the statue which permanently grants one of your party members bless? Or the Misty Escape spell which transforms Astarion into a sick cloud? Or what about the +2 ability score increase of your choice through a mysterious mirror? If not, then you're in the right place, because in this video I will go over all the permanent buffs, features, bonuses, whatever you want to call it, you can obtain in Act 3. But before I start, a quick note here, it's a video about Act 3, so some spoilers could appear, so continue at your own risk. But if you do, just let's go. So, the first bonus you can receive in Act 3 is actually pretty nice. It is the partial Ceremorphosis, and with it you gain access to all the tier 3 illithid powers. And in addition to that, you unlock every tier 1 power without the need to spend anything for it. So for everyone who wants to use illithid powers, it's definitely worth a pick up. So how do we get this bonus? So you can get this bonus right at the beginning of Act 3 when you enter the astral plane. Once there, you will have an encounter with the Emperor. Just speak with him and ultimately help him in the battle defending himself. If you do that, he will give you as a reward an astral touch tadpole, and this is what you need to get this bonus. Now all you have to do is to use this tadpole and unlock this permanent feature. And just a little note here, you can do two things. The first one, you could just eat it, but I wouldn't recommend it, because if you consume it, you are the only one who can benefit from it. But if you take the option which kinda makes a connection between you and the tadpole, you can keep it in your inventory and you can use it with all of your other party members too. So it's definitely worth to just keep it in your inventory and just use it through this connection thingy, and then have the option to just use it with everyone else. But that's basically it. That's the first bonus you can receive in Act 3. So let's continue. The second permanent buff you can get is Bless. With it, you basically just get a 1d4 to attack rolls and saving throws. It is pretty amazing and extremely easy to get. The only thing you need is a little bit of gold. That's maybe the only part which makes it a little bit harder, but everyone gets gold in this game, so don't worry too much. So to get this one here, we have to head to the circus. The door to the circus will be closed, so just talk with the guys standing in front of it and get yourself inside. Then just walk all the way to the back where you get to meet Boney. Talk to him and request that he builds a statue of yourself in exchange for the little sum of 5,000 gold. I know, basically for free. Once done, you can just go to your camp and you will find the statue standing right there. Now all you have to do is take one long rest, because the bonus will only appear at the next morning, and then success. You now have this permanent bless feature. Just a little note here to add, it only works with one statue, so decide for which character you want this bonus the most, so you don't waste your money on the wrong character. So the next one is the spell Tasha's Hideous Laughter once per long rest. Pretty skippable in my opinion, but decide for yourself if you want it or not. But let's just go through it, I would say. This one here starts all the way back in Act 1 when you get to Grimforge. There you had to get the Sentient Amulet, which triggers the start of the quest, which basically is to carry the amulet from Grimforge to a casket under the Open Hand Temple in Worm's Crossing. If you don't know where in Grimforge to get it, or if you're unsure if you ever got it, it's right here on the map. And if you are there, there was a little chest which you had to lock open, and inside was this amulet. And as soon as you picked it up, a little monk will appear and talk with you, and you will have a pretty big laugh. You will remember if you got it. But that's basically the amulet you had to get that we can continue in Act 3. But once you advanced and reached Act 3, we have to go to the temple, which is right here. Just go inside and run all the way back until you find an opening which leads you under the temple. Once there, we have to find the right casket, which is right in this room here, and all the way back on the left side. Just interact with it, open the casket and go through with the quest. The only thing you have to make sure here is that once the option of accepting the curse for yourself comes up, that you agree with it. If you do that, you will finish the quest and gain the spell. But once again, one or two little things to add here. First off, in the process of getting that spell, you have to succeed in wisdom checks. If you fail, it could result in a wisdom loss for you. So just be aware of this and make sure that you succeed in them. Then second off, once the quest is over, the sentient amulet loses all of its abilities. So yeah, just decide if you want all of that for the simple Tasha's Hideous Laughter spell, or if you just don't care about this. So yeah, just decide for yourself if you want it or not. So the next permanent is the Tharchiate Codex Blessing, where once per long rest you gain 20 temporary hit points, which is actually a pretty nice bonus and definitely worth a pick up. So to get this bonus, there are basically two ways to make this happen, but both ways start right in the Sorcerer's Sundress, so make sure that you start right there. So you can decide if you want to go the faster way or the way which takes a little bit longer but has some extra loot you can get on your way to this book. But I start with the first one, because once you are inside of the Sorcerer's Sundress, you just have to go upstairs and sneak your way into the office on the left side. And probably the easiest way to do this is just use an invisibility spell, potion, whatever, and then just lockpick your way inside and right away turn right where you see a bookshelf. In the second row on the bottom right, there is a lone book called the Clasped Book. Just interact with it, and once you do this, you will create a portal which leads you right into the vault. And then just go through it, and this is where the first part stops. Because with the second part we get right into this room where you teleported yourself right now. But to get there with the second option, you once again have to get upstairs in the Sorcerer's Sundress, and then you will have an interaction with this magical dude here. And once this interaction is over, he will spawn 4 portals. Just interact with the portal all the way to the left and you will be teleported in the Remissive Tower. Once there, you have to do a few little things. So the first thing you have to do in the Remissive Tower is to just go 1 floor below. You can do this by just jumping on these furnitures which are floating in the air. Once you did this, you will see that in the floor below, once there, if you go around this area, you will see a few weave buttons. You have to interact with the one which leads you straight into the vault. But to make this easier, just use an See Invisibility spell, and then in front of each of those weave buttons it will tell you what the button is for, and then you will see which one leads you to the vault. Just interact with it and go down. And once down there, you can just loot a bunch of things and then just head straight through the first door, and then you come in front of a wall. And right beside the wall there is a lever, just pull it and you can go through. And once through, you will be in the same room as you went with the first option of getting into the vault. So once we are in the room, we end up with each of the ways we chose. Just go through the first wooden door here. Then after that you will see there is another one right behind it which you have to lock open. Just do this and advance further. Then you have to solve a kind of puzzle here, so if you want to do this on your own, do it, otherwise just follow my lead. So if we are in this room here now, you just have to go through the silver hand door. Then in the next room you will see that there are a few more doors. Choose the evocation door, and then once you went through that, you once again have to make a decision, and this decision would be to choose the wish door. Once you went through this door, you will see that there is a lever right at the end of the room. Just go there and use it. It will open up a door in the starting room you came from. So just go back where you came from, and then you will see, instead of going through the silver hand door on your left, there will be the Elminster door. Just go through it and then advance further until you get into the corresponding vault, and in there you will finally get this book. Just do whatever it takes to get it and read through it, and you are done. Congratulations, you cursed yourself now and you gain a -2 in Constitution. But it's not the end of the world, because it is a curse and we can just use the remove curse spell and success. The penalty vanishes and we gain the temporary hit points from now on. And that's basically how we get this buff. So the next permanent is the Danse Macabre spell, which basically summons you 4 ghouls which fight along your side. And to get this one here, we have to do 2 little things. The first thing is basically something which you had to do in Act 1, because to get this spell, we need the Necromancy of Fae book, which we get in chapter 1. So if you don't have this, then it sucks for you because you can't get the spell. But otherwise, if you still have it in your inventory, you can advance here. Because the second thing we have to get is the Codex, which I went through in the last chapter a minute ago. So just read through it, and then after you read through the Codex, open up the Necromancy of Fae again and go to the last page. Once there, you have to succeed in a wisdom check, but if you do, you will get the spell, and easy peasy, you have 4 ghouls fighting along your side. The next permanent buff is the Mirror of Loss, which basically grants you a +2 to an ability score of your choice. And in addition to that, you can even get a +1 to Charisma if you have a little bit of luck and make the right decisions in this process. You can find the Mirror of Loss in the House of Grief, right here on the map. Once there, you have to progress through this area until you encounter Viconia. Go through with everything that will happen there, and when the situation is over, we have to go upstairs and through the door into the Chamber of Loss. It will be locked at first, but we can open it up quite easily. Just go back downstairs where the statue is standing. Now all you have to do is place some gold on until it's enough, and it will lock open. I think it's about 1000 gold, so just place it on it and that should be enough. So once done, go back up and the door will open and you can already see the mirror from the distance. Now when we are by the mirror, I would recommend you to just make a save, because first off, the checks you have to pass here are quite hard to hit, and second off, the mirror sometimes seems kinda a little random, and I don't know if it only happened to me. At one point it straight up didn't work and I didn't receive my bonus, so it's quite nice to have a save you can fall back to. But when we are in front of the mirror, to get the most out of it, I would recommend you doing it the following way. Interact with the mirror and make an Arcana check. Then don't immediately do the religion check, because if we really want to get that +1 charisma bonus before the +2 stat increase, we have to make sure that we get a random dialogue answer from the mirror when we sacrifice a memory. Because with some answers of the mirror we won't get anything. But if the mirror appears to answer something along the following line, like this: you were sure to succeed Stelmane, but Lord Envergordish has stolen your support. If we get this one, congratulations, we got the +1 in Charisma. And that's the reason why we want to do this right after Arcana check, so we can sacrifice a few memories and hopefully get this status. Because if we, for example, sacrificed like 4 or 5 memories and got this, then it's completely fine, because we have still 1 more memory left for sacrificing after the religion check. Because if we do the religion check, we can once again sacrifice a memory in exchange for a new learned memory. And this is the reason why we want to do this beforehand, because if we do the Arcana check and the religion check at the same time, we basically have 1 chance of getting that specific dialogue answer from the mirror to get this +1 in Charisma. So the chance is a little bit lower, and if you're one who save scums, then you have to always reload. And the other way, it's just a little bit more convenient and faster in my opinion. But after you have succeed everything and you got the +1 in Charisma and the +2 increase of an ability score of your choice, you will see that you basically, for all the lost memories, you will have a -2. But once again, it's just a curse, so we can just use the remove curse spell and get our base stats back. And the +2 and +1 will stay. And that's basically it. Maybe one more thing, in this whole process you will also see if you have the forbidden knowledge from the Necromancy of Fae, you could also sacrifice it, but I wouldn't recommend you, because this is the only thing you can't get back if you remove the curse. Every stat decrease you get with the sacrificed memory you can get back, but the Necromancy of Fae bonus you can't get back. So just for your interest. The next permanent is Unstable Blood. And here I really don't know what I think about this one. It is basically a condition that makes your blood highly flammable. If it comes in contact with fire, it explodes. So I really don't know if there is any way to make it worth it, but if you know better, let me know. But if you really want to get it, or maybe you just want to avoid it, just follow through, because some get it by accident. But once again, this one here starts in Act 2, because you had to do one thing in the Moonrise Tower. If you interacted with Arash or Baldur in Act 2 and gave her a blood sample, then it becomes relevant. Because now, if we are in Act 3, we can meet her again close to the Blushing Mermaid, right in this building here. If you come close there, you will see an explosion and she will come out of the building. Just talk to her, help her, and then in the process of all that, drink the potion she gives you, and that's everything you need to do. You will get the Unstable Blood permanent if you drink this potion. If you don't drink it, then you won't get it, so that's basically the whole area here.
Am I explosive?
So the next permanent brings us back to our beloved Volo. We can get the Slayer knowledge, which basically provides us advantage on saving throws against being frightened by a Baal spawn. So if you want this permanent, you have to go to the Steel Watch Factory. And if we go there, we will once again find Volo captured. I don't know what he's always doing, but he will be captured again and we have to save him once more. If we do this, he will appear in our camp. There, we just have to talk to him, go through a little bit of dialogue and so on, and we receive a book. We just have to read through it and then we get the Slayer knowledge. Pretty easy and a fast bonus to get, and if you want it, just get it. So the last bonus we can get is an Astarion specific one, where we can get first off the Misty Escape spell, where we can transform into a tiny mist cloud and it can't fall and it fits through small openings and it is very hard to damage, which is a concentration spell and lasts until long rest. So it's basically a pretty nice spell to have. And the second one would be an improved bite for Astarion, where he just deals more damage and necrotic damage, so it's just an overall better bite. So basically in Act 3 several character arcs come to a head, and one of them is of course Astarion's. So if you want to do nothing with this, just end this video now. Otherwise, let's go straight to the point where this becomes relevant. I will basically skip most of the part because you will come to this point anyway if you follow Astarion's storyline. Because at some point you will come closer and closer to the end and we will encounter Cassador. And this is where it gets interesting, because you can make different decisions here. But the one which leads you to making Astarion stronger and providing you with the spell and the new and stronger bite is the decision of helping Astarion with ascending. And if you do this and go through this whole process, that's basically everything you need to do. And that's basically it. If you do this, everything will take its path and you can't miss it. Of course, this will result in a few other things, but I won't say much here since it's a huge point in the game and Astarion's arc. So do whatever you think is nice, and if you just want those spells and those permanents for him, then just go with it and see what happens. But it's just for knowledge that some things will happen here if you do this. So, but basically that's it. Those were all the permanent buffs, features, whatever in Act 3. As always, if I missed anything, tell me. If you have any improvements, if you have any ideas on how to get those things a little bit faster, better, whatever, just tell me. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon and have a nice day, night, whatever, and bye.